Good morning and welcome to today's show, Health, Habits, and Happiness. I am Susie B. and I am your host. I am so excited that you're here. Whether this is your first time tuning in or whether you've been here with us before, thank you for taking the time to care about yourself, to tune in, to understand that you are amazing and that you have so much ability to do so much for yourself. This is a show where I want to help you take back control of your life, your health, and your happiness with simple daily habits. Again, I'm your host, Susie B. I'm a personal trainer turned habits expert after a battle with postpartum depression that showed me that I can be completely in control of my own life, no matter how overwhelmed, how unmotivated, or how unworthy I feel. Habits brought me back to life. And that's how this whole habit system came to life, because they helped me regain confidence in myself, understand myself, and manage my personal growth so that I could be in control of my happiness. And now that I've mastered this process, I want to be able to teach you how to take that control in your own life. The process is so much simpler than I ever would have thought. And I hope that I am able to convey to you how simple it is for you to use in your life. The process of habit formation, I've mentioned it in the last 2 weeks, but we'll review it quickly here, is 3 steps. Step number 1 is focus. You need to find one thing that you can focus on, that you can go all in on, that you can really give your mind and your body permission to do, to commit to. Step number 2 is to harness the powers you already have within you. You have 2 incredible superpowers, your conscious and subconscious mind. And when you learn how to harness these 2 together, long-term change is completely in your control. So the first few days, the first few weeks that you're working on something, you're using your conscious mind. And then after a time, your subconscious mind comes to play, and those 2 powers harness together and they work together so that you can keep the changes you're making. You can feel good about the progress you've made, but also continue to make that progress on autopilot. So how do we combine those 2 superpowers together? By forming 3 habits. 1, 2, 3. 1 pillar, 1 focus, 2 superpowers, and 3 habits. A habit is not something that you do perfectly. A habit is something that you do often enough that your on days outnumber your off days. The days that you do the habit are more frequent than the days that you don't. All habits is a pattern in your life. So as we're forming these habits, I want you to remember that 1 focus. Step number 1 was focus. So for the month of December, we've been focusing on mental health. Last week, we talked about meditation and being still and taking a moment to just breathe and be with yourself. This week, I'd like to talk to you about the power of positive affirmations. A lot of us we understand what affirmations are a little bit, but we don't have a lot of personal experience with them. Here's some statistics for you. 36% of Americans are more exhausted by the holidays than they are uplifted. If you live in America, you understand that toward the end of the year, things become really, really busy. If you're anywhere else in the world, the same thing happens. Everybody gets toward the new year and they want to get everything done, and it starts to become overwhelming. So most of us, or not most of us, but about a third of us are more overwhelmed by this concept than we are uplifted by it. So that is a huge problem, in my opinion. I think we should be able to finish the year strong and happy with a good foot forward so that when we start the next year, we're already on the right pace and we're already in forward momentum versus ending the year exhausted and giving up until January 1st. Oh, I'll just start again soon, but right now I'm going to throw in the towel. That's about 1/3 of us that do that. And that is what I would like to help you combat today. So how do we combat that? How do we fight back against feeling tired and feeling like we want to just coast the rest of this year? How do we fight back? There are 4 amazing gifts that you have been given in your brain that you have complete access to all the time. But a lot of us don't use it as often as we wish or as often as we could. Those 4 things are your 4 happy hormones, are sometimes what they're referred to as. Serotonin, endorphins, dopamine, and oxytocin are hormones that are already in your brain. They're holding in a place where they are ready to be released at any given moment, but you have to do something in order to release those. So let's go into each one individually. Serotonin is your self-esteem hormone. This is the one that comes from leadership. This is the one that when you want to feel good, this is the one where you have to simply make a decision that you're going to do something. All you have to do to release serotonin in your mind is decide to take a leadership role, whether that be parenting and you're leading your family, or whether that be it at work and you're leading a team, or maybe that's just taking ownership and leadership of your own individual life. Maybe you just decide, you wake up in the morning and you say, today, I'm going to take care of myself. That will release serotonin. It's as simple as that. All it is a thought where you have to decide. It's a decision. Once you decide that I'm going to take care of me today, that serotonin gets on board and helps you succeed. The next one is your endorphins. These reduce your stress and pain. So if you wake up in the morning and you decide, I'm going to take control today, in order to get those endorphins to help you out, all you have to do is act. Once you start doing something, anything, those endorphins will help you. Those get released in your brain. They help you reduce the stress. They help you focus. They help you reduce your pain so that you're not being held back, but you're being freed. It's like when you take the reins off of a horse when they are in a wide open pasture. If you've been on a horse ride and you've been holding the horse by the reins, telling them where to go and what to do, when you release that horse into their big open field, you take those reins off, you take away the bridle, you take away the control, they run, they're free to go. That's what this is like when you release those endorphins. So you've got your serotonin that is helping you believe in yourself. You've got your endorphins that are helping you to act, to reduce your stress so that you can do something. And then the third one is dopamine. This is your happy hormone. This is where motivation comes from. Dopamine is the one that when you decide that you're proud of yourself, when you decide to pay attention to what you are doing instead of focusing on what you're not doing, this is when dopamine is released. And when dopamine is released, you are much happier. You're able to focus on the positive. This is the one that leads to more positivity. This is the one that they say your reticular activating system, which is the filter in your brain. When you release dopamine, your filter in your brain shifts to the positive. Once you pay attention to what you are doing, you're able to see so much more capability. You're able to see what you are going to be able to do. You're able to feel what you've already done. It shifts your mind from negative and doubt and stress and exhaustion to positive, to motivated, to proud of yourself, to happiness. So you've got your serotonin that helps you believe in yourself, your endorphins that help you to reduce that stress and give you a little boost to be able to act, your dopamine that gives you that pride, that sense of motivation, that sense of good job, now let's go for more. And your fourth one is your oxytocin. This one is released after dopamine. And this one is your love and trust hormone. This one is released when you have decided to take action, then you've taken some action, and then you've noticed and you've paid attention and you've celebrated the action that you decided to take. So you got your serotonin that helps you believe in yourself. Then you did something and you released those endorphins with a little bit of action. Then you got your dopamine hit that helped you to be proud of yourself and celebrate what you had done. And then your oxytocin comes into play. And this tells you that you can love and trust yourself. This is where confidence, this is where motivation, this is where self-understanding, self-belief, self-love, all of those things where you come to understand who you are and what you're capable of, that comes from oxytocin. And that one is only released after the other three have been working. So by starting this off with just a decision to take control, just a decision to lead something, whether that be your life or your family or at work or wherever you are, just deciding to take control, to take an action of leadership. You set yourself up to love yourself. You set yourself up to trust yourself. And once you go through that process of releasing those hormones and paying attention, doing a little action, doing a little celebration, and then learning to love and trust yourself, you give yourself an incredible gift, the gift of motivation. Once you've done this, you're able to validate that you can do it. You get a little bit of confidence so that next time you know you can do it. And it gets a little bit easier, and it gets a little bit easier. And the next time it's easier, and the next time it's easier. And then all of a sudden, you believe in yourself. And if you start small, if you start doing this with little things, which we're going to do in just a minute with affirmations, when you get into the bigger things, you are ready, you are prepared, and you know you can do it. So let's start incredibly small so that you can prepare yourself for something incredibly big. What I want you to do this week, we've been talking about how to take a habit and work on a habit for a whole week. This habit for this week that I want you to work on is affirmations. So I want you to sit in front of a mirror or stand in front of your bathroom mirror at some point during your morning. The earlier, the better. This is one of the very first things I do in the morning. And I want you to look at yourself, look at your own reflection, and just be able to sit with yourself. Again, that practice from last week, we're adding on, sit with yourself and just be able to look at yourself in the mirror. If this is hard on day one, don't despair. It's okay. We're going to start here. You have to start where you are. You don't have to start where anybody else is. You don't need to wish that things were different and you wished that when you look in the mirror, you loved who you see. No, start where you are. Whatever is your genuine reaction, it's okay. I want you to stay there and I want you to look at yourself in the mirror. And taking on a habit from Mel Robbins, she's one of my favorite motivational speakers. Her habit is to high five yourself. This is one of her positive affirmations that she does. Look in the mirror and give yourself a high five. So start with that. You're going to look in the mirror and you're going to give yourself a high five just for being there, just for being you. You didn't do something to earn that high five. You just get a high five and you get a little bit of celebration because you are who you are. And when you learn to accept that, that is a great start to your positive affirmations and that positivity process that we just talked about with releasing all of those hormones that help you get more done. So start with a high five. Look at yourself in the mirror, give yourself a high five. I'm here, I'm me, and that's awesome. That's worth celebrating. After your high five, I want you to say 3 to 5 statements out loud. I want you to think about these statements. Come up with a few things that you want to believe about yourself or that you already believe about yourself. If you are in a self-development process, you probably already have some things that you really know and believe about yourself. Write those down, 2 or 3 of them. You can put them on your mirror if you want, or on a sticky note, or just in your phone. Mine are in my phone so that I can do this anywhere. And come up with 3 to 5 things that you know and believe about yourself and love about yourself. If you can't come up with those things, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up for that. That's okay. What we're lacking right now is a little bit of that love and trust of yourself, and we'll get there. So today, I want you to come up with 3 statements. Remember that 3 habits? Always the number 3 is a good place to start. So 1, 2, 3, come up with 3 statements that you want to believe about yourself. I'll give you some examples. I am strong. Maybe you're feeling weak right now. Maybe you're feeling small. Maybe you're feeling unworthy, but you want to be strong. You know you can believe that about yourself. Say that statement to yourself in the mirror. Look yourself in the eyes and say, I am strong. The first day, it might just feel like words, but after a few days of repeating this process, this habit, you're going to start to believe yourself. And it's absolutely going to be something that you are living. It's no longer going to be something that you wish. It's something that you know to be true about you. And once you believe these statements, you're able to love and trust yourself to be able to conquer huge mountains and huge things that come up in your life. Another one is, I am me, and that's all I ever want to be. That's my very first affirmation that I do every day. I am me, and that's all I want to be. So often we focus on other people, and learning from other people is so great. And there are so many brilliant minds out there that we can learn from. But understand, you are different. You are unique. And you are you for a reason. Once you make that connection and you are okay with that fact, your life will open up to so much more happiness, so much more uniqueness, and so much deeper connection to yourself and others, because you understand that you are exactly who you need to be. So look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am me, and that's all I want to be. Another affirmation you can do is, one of the ones that I do is, I am living my dream. Sometimes we get in this, I wish I could, or I want to, especially around the new year, when we're setting new goals and we're creating these new ambitions. They're all good things, but sometimes it feels like it's so far in the future that someday I will be this, or someday I will have that, or someday I will believe this about myself. I want that day to be today. And I want you to understand the power that you have to make that happen. All you have to do is say it. Once you start to say it, again, like I said, once you do it a couple of times, you'll be able to feel that shift in your brain where you love and trust yourself. So look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am living my dreams. I am living my dreams right now. It's not someday I will live my dream. Today, I am living my dreams. I'm making it happen. And once you start to believe that about yourself, after a couple of days, this connection will be subconscious. This connection will be deep within you, and you don't have to force it. It's just there. It's a belief that you will have about yourself that will lead you to so much greatness in your life. Another affirmation you can use is one of the ones that I do. This is my very last one that I do of my day or of my morning. I say, I find happiness every day by looking for it. This sends a signal to my RAS, my reticular activating filter in my mind, to look for the good, to look for things that make me happy, to look for things that I know and love about myself, and to acknowledge that. I start my morning by telling my filter, hey, find the good today. Notice what makes you happy and pay attention to it. That's one of my affirmations that I do. Another one I do is, I'm a spiritual person and I believe in Jesus Christ. And I say, with Christ, I can do all things, great or small. This gives me a little bit of strength and a little bit of power that I'm not alone. Whether you're a spiritual person or not, I encourage you to connect to your higher power, whatever that is, and just give yourself that strength that you don't have to do it alone. You're in this with someone or something so much bigger than yourself that it makes it feel possible. It makes it feel whatever it is that you are trying to do that day, that minute, that moment of your life, it makes it feel possible. So your affirmations, again, the ones that we've talked about today are, I am strong. I want you to say that to yourself right now, sitting in your chair, wherever you are, say it out loud. I am strong. The next one, I want you to say, I am me, and that's all I ever want to be. The third one is, I am living my dreams. And the fourth one, I find happiness every day by looking for it. And your fifth one, with Christ or the universe or my higher power, I can do all things, great or small. Again, by just deciding to do these, you are releasing that serotonin, that belief in yourself. You're starting your morning with a little bit of worthiness, with a little bit of belief in what you can do as a person today. And by doing that, you release those hormones in your mind, that serotonin. Then you decide to take action. Whatever you do that day, your endorphins are going to get on board. You're going to help you release your stress, release your pain, and give you a little bit more strength and power to be able to do what needs to be done, or be what needs to be seen, see what needs to be seen, hear what needs to be heard. Not necessarily, you don't have to do things in order for these to happen. It doesn't require a physical action. Doing something can be sitting in silence. Doing something can be looking at yourself in the mirror and giving yourself a high five. These don't have to be big, colossal actions. The smaller, the better. Like I said, when you train your brain to believe in yourself with something tiny, then when you get to something big, you already know you can do it. You already have the full belief and power and strength that you need to do it. Then you notice what you were able to do by paying attention to what you are doing instead of what you lack. Instead of thinking, oh, I wish I had done that, or I wish I had this, or I wish I were. Nope. Pay attention to what you are, who you are, what you have to offer the world, what you are able to do for yourself today. You know what? I gave myself a high five in the mirror today, and I thought positively about my own reflection. That's awesome. That's worth celebrating. Take a moment and celebrate yourself. Release that third hormone in your brain that gives you motivation from within. You don't need anything outside you to motivate you to do what needs to be done or be what you need to be. All you need is your own belief in yourself. It starts with a belief, then an action, and then paying attention and celebrating what you've done. Then that oxytocin is released and you're able to love and trust yourself on a deeper level. Every time you decide to take control, take action, and be proud of yourself, you love and trust yourself a little bit more. You have a little bit more confidence that you can do it again. And each time you repeat this process, it gets easier, which means you get stronger. And as you are getting stronger, you're able to do amazing things that don't seem hard anymore. When your habits are easy, life doesn't have to be hard. I absolutely believe in the power of positive affirmations, and I hope you do too. And if you don't yet believe, I highly encourage you to make that a habit this week. Sit or stand with yourself in the morning. This takes 30 seconds. You can spare 30 seconds for yourself this week to give yourself motivation, belief, and the ability to love and trust yourself. It's absolutely worth 30 seconds of your day. I promise. And as you do it a couple of days in a row, remember a habit is patterns, more days of doing it than days that you don't do it. So out of the next 7 days, I want you to do this for at least 4 of those days. And then next week, when we come back next Monday, I'm going to check in with you and hopefully you'll be able to say, yes, that was incredible. The first few days didn't really feel much connection. And then the next few days felt completely incredible. That was my experience when I was in my postpartum depression battle that I didn't know I had postpartum depression. I just felt completely disconnected and completely not myself. One of the habits that I started to do was positive affirmations. So I'd sit in front of myself in the mirror and I'd say those things. 3 of those things that we said today are 3 of the things that I did back then and I still do today. Those are still positive affirmations that I use. Like I said, once you form a habit, it stays with you. And so I would just sit in front of the mirror, and the first few days were difficult. I almost couldn't even look at myself in the mirror, but I would force myself to do it. Look myself in the eyes and say, I am strong. I am me. I can do all things and I am happy and I'm living my dreams. Those 5 things, I would repeat those to myself a couple of times in the mornings. And sometimes these were incredibly emotional experiences. Sometimes they just felt like words and I would just go through the motions, but other times I would feel unbelievably connected to myself. Other times these were so powerful and exactly what I needed to hear. And it came from my own voice. That's another thing you need to know is I can preach to you all day long about how great you are and how amazing you are and how you already have everything inside you that you need to succeed. But until you make that connection with your own self, using your own voice and your own reflection, it's not going to be personal. You're going to believe that I believe in you. You need to believe in yourself. And that only comes from a personal practice, a habit of believing in yourself. This month, we're working on our mental health habits, and this one is incredibly simple and incredibly powerful. So combine last week's and this week's and sit with yourself for just 5 minutes a day. Do your affirmations for 30 seconds of those 5 minutes. Think your positive thought. Take your mind in a positive direction. Give yourself what you need first thing in the morning so that all day long, not only are you able to do more, but you notice and you pay attention and you see the good you're doing so that you learn to love and trust yourself. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of what you accomplished. Be proud of just being yourself, just being you. Wake up and give yourself a high five first thing in the morning because you deserve it. You're here. You're you. And that's amazing. If this habit formation concept is really ringing true with you and you're like, I want a really deep dive into this and I want to get on board, please know that I have a habits course or a habits program. It's a 4-month coaching program called Habits, Health, and Happiness, same as the title of this show. And what we do is we work through the habit formation process, how I talked to you about combining your 2 superpowers. I help you to combine those 2 superpowers over a 60-day period. And we have a blueprint system that works incredibly well, has been proven and tested over 7 years of research, and 100% success rate. This is for women and men. Mostly women have been drawn to this, but there have been a few men that we've worked with as well that have had incredible results. And the results are not just immediate. They are immediate. You feel within a couple of days, you can feel massive change in your physiological body as well as your mind. But the results stay with you. That's the difference between habits and everything else out there in the world right now, is that the results actually last. You create those changes in your mind and in your brain that are long-term. This isn't something that I'm going to ask you to do for a couple of weeks and then it's over. I'm going to ask you to stick with it for 2 solid months and then watch as you don't have to try anymore, but it still continues to happen in your life. Like I said, it's a 4-month coaching program. So we do the process twice. We go through it the first round with your physical health, which right now is a spectacular time to jump on board and get in the right momentum with your physical health. Start the year off right. So we do it first with your physical health. You master the art of mindset. You master the art of habit formation. And then we go through a goal setting workshop so that you know what to do next. You know what you want and how to make that happen. And then we repeat the process. So not only do you master one area of your life with habits, you're going to master 2 areas of your life with habits. I refer to these areas, these big parts of your life as pillars. So we're going to master habits in 2 pillars of your life. The first one is your physical health, and the second one is entirely up to you. So if you are picking up what I'm putting down and you're like, yes, this is what I need in my life, then go ahead to www.livelifeconscious.com/store/course. That is the website where you can get in the Habits, Health, and Happiness 4-month coaching program. Jump in there today and join an incredible support group with a coach. I am your coach every step of the way, all along the road. It's not something that you buy and then you do it on your own. No, I'm with you every single step of the way to make sure that your results are guaranteed. This is an incredible program, and I hope that you will join us and that you can elevate your life with habits. Because the best part of this program is that after you've gone through the process twice, you have that full belief in yourself. You have that love, trust, and understanding that you can do it again. So you do it with me twice, and then you're set up for a lifetime of succeeding in every pillar of your life with habits. Thank you for joining us today, and we will catch you next week. Again, I'm Susie B. This has been Habits, Health, and Happiness. Have a lovely week, and we'll catch you next week.